Beginners by Denise Levertov, dedicated to the memory of Karen Silkwood and Elliot Gralla. From too much hope of living, love and desire set free, even the weariest river winds somewhere to the sea. But we have only begun to love the earth. We have only begun to imagine the fullness of life. How could we tire of hope? So much is in bud. How can desire fail? We have only begun to imagine justice and mercy, only begun to envision how it might be to live as siblings with beast and flower, not as oppressors. Surely our river cannot already be hastening to the sea of non-being. Surely it cannot drag in the silt all that is innocent. Not yet, not yet. There is too much broken that must be mended, too much hurt that we have done to each other that must be forgiven, that cannot yet be forgiven. We have only begun to know the power that is in us if we would join our solitudes in the communion of struggle. So much is unfolding that must complete its gesture. So much is in bud. Come, let us worship together, and happy Halloween. Okay, I'm gonna try it. Welcome to worship at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Greensboro, North Carolina. I'm the Reverend Sadie Lansdale. This morning, I am the Velocipastor, and I am the minister of this congregation. Unitarian Universalists believe that each person has a trustworthy relationship with the Spirit, with the Holy, with the source of all life, with what some call God, though we name it and know it differently from one another. And we believe that because we are interconnected, nobody is free until we all are free. So we strive to build beloved community here on earth, in our fellowship with one another, in our work for justice. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you have found your way here, welcome. Leading worship with me this morning is Max Goolsby on vocals and Esther Garcia on piano. And Esther and Max, we're so happy to have you with us this morning. Should you have your cell phone on during church making noise? No. Should you take your COVID mask off? No. Where are we singing? Outside. All right. Okay, I can't see at all. I really can't see. On the singing front, I just want you all to know that our next decision point has to do with when the 5 to 11 age range is vaccinated. Cases are going down. Our adult population is highly, highly vaccinated. So we're thinking and doing some research about congregational singing. We're not going to make any decisions quickly, but we just want you to know that that's sort of the next thing to be thinking about in our moving in safety and beauty together. Today, though, where are we singing? Outside. Great. If you're joining us online, go ahead and say hello to each other in the chat. And if you're here in the sanctuary, why don't you turn around and wave hello to everybody joining us from afar and from the comfort of their homes. Look around you, check the wristbands of the people near you just to make sure that you're at a comfortable distance. This is the way that we keep each other safe. Okay, this part I have memorized, so I can do it with the minutes. Sue Sherwood will light our chalice this morning. Please join me in the chalice lighting words found in your order of service. We light this chalice symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith, to remind us to connect in spirituality and service, to care for each other and the world, and to create loving community. And now will you join me in our church covenant? A covenant contains the promises we make to one another in response to the gift of living, holding ourselves to our holy and highest aspirations. We, the members of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Greensboro, do covenant to promote a search for personal meaning, respecting the individual truth in a community process of quest. Speak and act with caring, courtesy, and love, thereby maintaining emotional, physical, and spiritual safety for all. Support UUCG and denominational efforts with our resources, combat injustice while promoting equality, nurture our children on their spiritual journey, hold ourselves to this covenant, especially during times of conflict and disagreement.
All beautiful the march of days, as seasons come and go. The hand that shaped the rose has wrought the crystal of the snow, has sent the hoary frost of heaven, the flowing water sealed, and laid a silent loveliness on hill and wood and field. O'er white expanses sparkling clear, the radiant morns unfold. The solemn splendors of the night burn brighter through the cold. Life mounts in every throbbing vein, love deepens round the earth, and clearer sounds the angel hymn, goodwill to all on earth. O thou from whose one path-loamed law the year in beauty flows, thyself the vision passing by, in crystal and in rose. Day unto day doth order speech, and night to night proclaim, in ever-changing words of light, the wonder of thy name.
How beautiful it is to be together and to see you clearly. We gather in gratitude this morning, turning our hearts to thanks and praise for the gift of living in the presence of the Spirit that animates all life, and in the knowledge that we are powerfully, profoundly connected to all that is, all that has been, and all that will be. Please continue to email your specific joys and sorrows so that we can share them from the pulpit. The instructions for doing that are in your e-news. And at any time during our service, you can go to our joys and sorrows table to light a candle, a symbol of the ways our burdens are eased and our joys are magnified. knowing they are held in common. I invite you now to offer the names of those people on your hearts, living or dead, near or far, that this community might hold them in prayer and in love. You can type them in the comments if you're joining us online, or you can speak them now. During these few minutes of silence, you can focus on something you're grateful for, someone you're remembering especially today, or just the sensation of your chair supporting you. Will you find a comfortable place in your seat and take a few easy breaths as we settle into our shared silence together? We send all of these prayers, spoken and silent, up to the love that holds us all. Will you pray with me? From the Reverend Robin Tanner. Today we share in a blessing for losers, risk takers, all failures far and wide. Blessed are they who fall in the mud, who jump with gusto and rip the pants, who skin the elbows and bruise the ego, for they shall know the sweetness of risk. Blessed are they who make giant mistakes, whose intentions are good, but impact has injured, who know the hot sense of regret and ask for mercy, for their hearts will know the gift of forgiveness. Blessed are they who have seen a D or an F or a C or any letter less than perfect, who are painfully familiar with the red pen and the label less than, for they know the wisdom in the imperfect. Blessed are they who try again, who dust off, who wash up, who extend the wish for peace, who return to sites of failure, who are dogged in their pursuit, for they will discover the secret to dreams. Blessed are they who refuse to listen to the naysayers, for their hearts will be houses for hope. Blessed are they who see beyond the surface of another, for they will be able to delight in the gift of compassion. Blessed are they who stop running the race to help a fellow traveler, who pick up the fallen, who stop for injured life, for they shall know the kindness of strangers. Blessed are they who wildly, boldly abandon winning, for they shall know the path of justice. We ask all these blessings for ourselves, for those we love, and for those we do not love. Amen. We sing the things we cannot say, our prayer and our yearning, our hope and our heartbreak. Please join in our humming meditation number 1031, filled with loving kindness. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be whole. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be whole. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be whole. Happy Halloween. Thinking about costumes, even without my trusty dino mask, which my dog, by the way, did not like this morning. I wear a costume every week. I put on this robe and this stole, and I never ever wear my hair down on Sundays. And the reason why is it's long and I think quite pretty when I bother to be vain about it, but I spend all week thinking really hard about how to create some kind of message that is true and relevant to your lives, and it ruins my day when after the sermon someone tells me they like my hair. So I keep it back to solve that problem. Costumes give us some freedom. I was an intern at the big church in San Diego, and it's not their custom in that congregation to wear robes. So every Sunday, someone would say something about my shirt. So I tried to wear like the most boring possible shirts. But then someone was like, man, your shirts are so boring. And I was like, I can't win. So I wonder for you, are there costumes that you wear? What are they? Ties. Uh-huh. Yeah, they make you look sort of respectable. I don't know why, but it's like, oh wow, boy, I bet this person is important or knows something with a tie on. Anybody else? What costumes do you wear?
Red on rainy days.
Huh?
Red on rainy days.
Red on rainy days. Why? Tell us about that. Is that a thing?
To try to counteract it. So, because when I look down, then I can see that I'm still here.
Kay wears red on rainy days to try to counteract the rain so that when she looks down, it's gloomy outside, but when she looks down, it's like vibrant and she feels present. You've totally changed my life right now. I'm going to start doing that. Anybody else? Costumes? Hats. Jewelry. Smiles. Ooh. Oh, I'm very emotional. Yeah, sometimes a smile is a costume. I also wear a long-sleeved black shirt with a high collar and a white tab when I go to the jail or the immigration court, and I sit down in my silly outfit, and the judge comes out in their silly outfit, and we don these sort of, I don't know, I mean, kind of mysterious cloths. Yeah, facades. Mysterious cloths to engage in this performance of respectability. Anybody else? Costumes?
That scary mask with the big old wing.
Yeah, a scary mask. Makeup. Uh-huh. I know someone who was recently told by their employer not to look so tired. Really? Yeah, makeup. That's another, I don't wear makeup to church. And I don't because if you do and then you don't, everybody tells you look tired. I was like, all right, I'll just skip that. If I'm tired, I'll just look tired, you know.
And skirts.
Skirts.
Business suits.
Business suits. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Heels.
Heels. Sharon, what'd you say?
A headset.
A headset. Uh-huh. Some of you, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear that. One more time.
Professorial robes.
Oh, uh-huh. Yes, another silly outfit. At graduation, they bring out their silliest outfits. Mm-hmm.
But they say something about what you are trying to project.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not necessarily silly.
Uh-huh. They communicate something. Costumes communicate something. It seems that several of you have costumes on this morning. Esther, will you strike up the parade music, and we'll just have like a small costume parade. For anybody feeling mobile who wants to join me in a brief parade around the sanctuary. Very well done, everyone. We'll see about making the parade longer next year. May all of the costumes you wear out of obligation not boss you around, and may the costumes you choose give you freedom and space to play. One of the ways that we live out our mission to create loving community is to contribute financially to the ministries of this congregation and the good work of our community partners. We're sharing the plate with the Carolina Abortion Fund. We know that without money, abortion rights are not enough. We know that it is mostly poor people and people of color who are denied access to appropriate reproductive care, and it is also mostly those people who have led the fights to expand access. So we celebrate the blessing that is abortion care. We remember that a pregnant person is a life, not just the host of a future life. We recall that before the rallying cry was "my body, my choice," it was free abortion. Without what? Without apology. Free abortion on demand without apology. So to honor those brave people who paved the way for safety and dignity in reproductive care, we give generously. If you'd like to make a contribution via PayPal to the church for our offering to be split with the Carolina Abortion Fund, you can do so on our website. You can also mail a check if you're old school. Ushers will come forward to collect the offering with long baskets. Our offering will now be safely and gratefully received. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this
How's y'all's Halloween going so far? If you see blood on my face, I was a vampire last night, so do not be scared. All right. Doesn't matter if you love him or capital H-I-M, put your paws up, because you were born this way, baby. My mama told me when I was young, we were all born superstars. She rolled my hair and put my lipstick on in the glass of her boudoir. There's nothing wrong with loving who you are, she said, 'cause he made you perfect, baby. So hold your head up, girl, and you'll go far. Listen to me when I say I'm beautiful in my way, 'cause God makes no mistakes. I'm on the right track, baby, I was born this way. Don't hide yourself in regret, just love yourself and you're set. I'm on the right track, baby, I was born this way. Ooh, there ain't no other way, baby, I was born this way. Baby, I was born this way. Ooh, there ain't no other way, baby, I was born this way. Right track, baby, I was born this way. Don't be a drag, just be a queen. Don't be a drag, just be a queen. Don't be a drag, just be a queen. Give yourself prudence and love your friends. Subway kid, rejoice the truth. In the religion of the insecure, must be myself, respect my youth. A different lover is not a sin. Believe capital H-I-M, hey, hey, hey. Love my life, love this record, and mi amor vole fea. I'm beautiful in my way, 'cause God makes no mistakes. I'm on the right track, baby, I was born this way. Don't hide yourself in regret, just love yourself and you'll say, I'm on the right track, baby, I was born this way. Ooh, there ain't no other way, baby, I was born this way. Baby, I was born this way. Ooh, there ain't no other way, baby, I was born this way. Right track, baby, I was born this way. Don't be a drag, just be a queen. Whether you're broke or evergreen, you're black, white, beige, white, you're Lebanese, you're Orient. Whether life's disabilities left you outcast, bullied, or cheese, rejoice and love yourself today. Baby, you were born this way. Oh, by lesbian, transgender life, I'm on the right track. Baby, I was born to survive. Matter white, black, or beige, chola, Orient maid, I'm on the right track. Baby, I was born to be brave. I'm beautiful in my way, God makes no mistakes. Right track, baby, born this way. Hide yourself in regret, just love yourself and you say, I'm on the right track, baby, I was born this way.
Our reading this morning comes to us from the poet Mary Oliver. Wild geese. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you, like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. The problem with being good. All right, buckle up, because if I ever write a book, this is what it's about. We've been talking in our new member class about the histories of Unitarianism and Universalism, about concerns about salvation, which in this present iteration of our tradition are pretty much resolved. Unitarians believed that human beings were good and capable of improvement and therefore not going to hell. Universalists believed that a loving God was too good to send anyone to hell. Regardless, nobody ends up in hell. So this is pretty foundational for us, and the question of hell is no longer a primary theological question for Unitarian Universalists, or for liberal or progressive Christians, or really mainline Christianity at all. It seems that universalism has won the day. But there's another major league problem with the whole hell thing, which is the fixation on individual salvation. Not what is happening to us, but what is happening to me personally. And our modern progressive transcendence of this idea of hell, our refusal to believe in any kind of eternal post-death torment, does not actually solve this problem for us. We have our own version of this problem, and it sounds like, oh, well, I just want to be a good person. We've got major, major problems if the pursuit of being good is the highest, truest purpose of a religious or spiritual life. Okay, so first of all, good according to whom? The problem with preoccupation with individual eternal salvation is that it renders us exploitable by those who claim the authority to set the conditions. If I am the judge of whether or not you go to hell, that puts a lot of power in my hands. I think that power is misplaced and dangerous. Okay, so you don't worry, I think, largely as a group, about whether or not I think that you're going to hell. The fate of your eternal souls does not rest in my hands. This is a good and important step. Nonetheless, the good person problem persists. It makes us exploitable, predictable, market-to-able, susceptible to narratives created by systems of power and codified and perfected by algorithms that want to sell you something. We've got two major concerns here. So the concern with esteeming oneself as a good person, and the concern with being perceived as a good person by others. They're both problems. We'll handle the first one first. Believing that you are a good person. Remember that it is British Petroleum who came up with the idea of a carbon footprint to help you, the good consumer, measure your impact on global warming and climate catastrophe. Concern with being a good person, a good individual, a good consumer renders us exploitable and isolated. British Petroleum, for example, has figured out how to displace collective distress caused largely by them onto you. The problem of individual salvation is in large part, I believe, the same problem as a fixation on individual goodness or moral purity. It is not primarily an afterlife problem, it's an individualism problem, and the powers that be thrive on our navel-gazing. There's a show called The Good Place about human nature, the afterlife, and eternal demons who look suspiciously like they're just always in meetings. Essentially, because of globalization and the legacy of colonialism, no one has gotten into the good place, the show's version of heaven, in 500 years. A Decider.com summary of the episode The Book of Dougs, which traces the lives and deeds of various people named Doug throughout history, says this: the reason people aren't getting into the good place isn't because of nefarious manipulation by demons in the bad place. It's because the world has grown more complicated. As an example, Michael, the head demon, goes to a book he stole from the Afterlife's accounting department and walks through various Doug's deeds in history. Back in 1534, a Doug picked a dozen roses for his grandmother. Positive points on the eternal scorecard of his soul. In 2009, another Doug gave his grandmother a dozen roses, and he lost points. The second Doug technically didn't do anything different, but the roses he bought were through a cell phone made in a sweatshop, the roses filled with toxic pesticides, picked by exploited migrant workers, transported in a way that left a massive carbon imprint, and his money went to a racist billionaire CEO who sends his female employees pictures of his genitals. So even if you're keeping your own kind of good person score, you're gonna lose points if you get down to the root of it. We are inextricably connected, and if we behaved that way, no power could stop us. So this doesn't mean obsess over your individual consumer habits so that you never buy anything touched with suffering. Who has that kind of money anyway? But also, it doesn't mean that. So let's deal with the second problem of good personhood, the concern with being perceived as a good person by others. Okay, what even is being good? That phrase gives me the feeling of being patted on the head, knowing my place, being nice, tolerating BS. Especially as a woman, I bristle at being called good because I know that the legacy of that word is primarily about playing along, not disrupting the status quo, performing invisible, unpaid, and necessary labor, and catering to the fragile egos of men in power or else. Good. Ugh. Someone give me a witch's hat. I don't mean it. Keep yours. It looks beautiful. Okay, if you're a person of color, perhaps you have heard the phrase, "You're one of the good ones." And if they haven't said it to you out loud, you may have gotten that message. It means you're not disruptive like those people. Don't make us uncomfortable like those people. You deserve help or attention or praise or kindness or a promotion unlike those other people. It is a cudgel. It is a weapon. It is a tool of social control. When confronted with issues of racial justice, a knee-jerk response from many white people who don't want to think about history and power is like, "Oh, but I'm a good person," right? A sort of free pass to having to confront realities of pain and power. Or, on the other hand, and this gets complicated too in matters of racial justice, if you're white and you care, you may desperately want to be seen as a good kind of white person. When you do that, you might get weird. You might make the people of color in your life and your communities extremely uncomfortable. You might be subconsciously looking to other people to absolve you of your feeling of guilt or shame. But no other person can do that for you or be that for you. And when you treat someone that way, it's super awkward. It interrupts the possibility of real relationship. If what you primarily want from another human being is not to know one another more deeply, but actually for them to ease your burden, make you feel a certain way about yourself, that is a barrier to meaningful relationship. And this is the project of religious community, to become more fully human with each other, to be open to knowing each other and being known, to refuse to put the burden of the stakes of our good personhood on another. The queer liberation movement has struggled mightily with this problem of being good. Respectability politics have co-opted sources of righteous rage and passion and power and transformed them into the promise that we are just like you. When the foremost struggle became marriage equality rather than employment protections or affordable housing or anti-discrimination laws or universal health care or burning the whole thing down and starting again, the promise became, don't worry, we are not a threat. We'll be good. In June 2015, Genicet Gutierrez, a trans woman and immigration activist from Mexico, interrupted a dinner at the White House to celebrate LGBTQ accomplishments in the past year. She interrupted President Obama to hold him to account, calling to an end for deportations, calling for him to release all LGBTQ detainees in detention centers. And she was shushed by the good ones, by the whole crowd. She wasn't being good. This cudgel of goodness is so often about niceness, about manners, about not rocking the boat, not getting out of one's place, performing one's expected role. Good wife, good mother, good friend, good daughter, good. How much righteous rage does this word good tamp down? Thank God for people like Genicet Gutierrez who know there is something bigger than good. In her book, Untamed, author Glennon Doyle writes about how she was a good mother, a good wife, and a good Christian, a good person, right up until the moment she saw retired soccer pro Abby Wambach walk into her room and fell in love with her on the spot and blew up her life. She quit trying to be good. She talks about starting to try to be real, trying to learn to be fully herself, fully alive, fully connected to all living beings and to the source of life, which she calls God. Listen, the fullness of who you are is absolutely a threat to our present distribution of power, and may it ever be so. The good person trap is a twofold trap. It renders us exploitable, vulnerable to external evaluation of good personhood, which isolates us, interrupts real relationship, and hamstrings our collective power. It also renders us predictable. We are easier to market to. We are easier to pin down. So how to get out of the twofold trap? This trap where we are rendered both exploitable and predictable. When we are connected, really connected, we are less exploitable. So to be connected in a way that allows for the fullness of who we are, we embrace covenant. When we embrace what we could be becoming over a desperate clinging to what we are, we become changeable. We become flexible. We embrace process. We are less predictable. To become less exploitable and more connected, we embrace covenant. This requires vulnerability, the risk of real relationship and being known, the honoring of our own boundaries and others. Prentice Hemphill says that boundaries are the distance at which I can love you and me simultaneously. Rather than our individual moral accounting, I think our concern ought to be collective power, how we as individuals show up as part of that collective. How do things work? What is our role in the ecosystem? Are we picking up our piece of things? Are we asking for help? Are we offering when it's needed? Are we participating in the weaving and the strengthening of the fabric of community that points us toward what could be? In our new member class, we studied our covenant last week. We're also thinking about how to be more fully human with each other, how to recognize that we have been created in the image of the divine and to work to more fully honor that true nature. So partly, we shared our accessibility concerns together in our convening conversation, in our introductions, things like, what are you going to need in order to really be in this room, in order to be present in this conversation? Hunger, gotta eat. Blood sugar, gotta eat. Children, lower back pain, hearing loss, needing permission to just be really emotional. Listen, you do not have to be good, meaning you do not have to be perfectly functional all the time. We can make adjustments to where we create an environment where we tend to each other's needs. We can practice that all the time here. Our covenant is helpful to me in this regard. We say every Sunday we speak and act with caring, courtesy, and love. And we talked about this last week too. Courtesy to me sounds too close to manners rather than authentic and responsive relationship. So I try to think about courtesy in dialogue with the pursuit of authentic and responsive relationship, and this is what I've come up with. Courtesy is my commitment to not take out my bad day on you, to keep things in perspective, to be self-aware and self-responsive enough so that I'm not burying my feelings of discomfort and building resentment, but neither am I unleashing my pent-up frustrations about unrelated stuff on you. Embracing covenant requires the pursuit of deep self-knowledge. There's a real difference between what's personal and what's privatized. Our personal responsibility for how we show up in our part of the web of creation is a really big difference from I'm responsible only for myself, so don't talk to me about all that interdependent stuff because it really bums me out. Right? The process of creating covenants and trying to live them out encourages us to think deeply and purposefully together about how to create a space that allows us to be more fully human. Okay, this is the exploitable isolation trap. To become less predictable, to escape the predictable trap, we embrace becoming. Process theology holds that we co-create with God, that the universe is a process, that life is about becoming, that because we were made in the image of the divine, we are endowed with tremendous creative power too, that we co-create the world, that the divine persuades and relates, but does not control or coerce. Science fiction author Octavia Butler puts it this way: all that you touch, you change. All that you change changes you. The only lasting truth is change. God is change. There's a woman I follow on Instagram named Charlene. Charlene was a drag queen until she realized she's a woman, that what she did on stage wasn't merely a performance, but it was her kind of playing around with becoming her true self. Especially as regards gender and sexuality, there's so much pressure to have it all figured out, to declare oneself something or something else, to be understandable, to be unchanging, to be predictable. And even if you're pretty sure that right now you know what's what with your sexuality and your gender identity, nonetheless, perhaps you feel the pressure to be predictable and unchanging in other aspects of your life. But like the poet Wendell Berry says, when the generals and the politicos can predict the motions of your mind, lose it. Everyone needs more grace than anyone can offer right now, but luckily for us, we are not the source of grace. We are just channels for it. Your connection to the divine, to the source of life, however you name and know it, is what allows you to show up in covenant and in complexity. You do not have to be good. The geese are already announcing your place in the family of things. Rest there. And it's Halloween. Put on your costume. Play with possibility. Embrace becoming. Refuse to be predictable. And by God, do not be good. May it be so for you and so for us all. Amen. Will you join me in our chalice extinguishing words? Max, will you extinguish the chalice for us? You just blow out there.
I just blow it out.
Yeah, you just blow it
Sure.
out. Yep, and the little one. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
All right. Thank you all again for having me in your space. This is Brave by Sarah Bareilles, or Sarah Bareilles. Thank you. Okay. You can be amazing, you can turn a phrase into a weapon or a drug. You can be the outcast or be the backlash of somebody's lack of love. Or you can start speaking up. Nothing's gonna hurt you the way that words do when they settle neath your skin. Kept on the inside and no sunlight, sometimes a shadow wins. But I wonder what would happen if you say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. What you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. Ooh. Everybody's been there, everybody's stared down by the enemy. fallen for the fear, done some disappearing, bowed down to the mighty. Don't run, stop holding your tongue. Maybe there's a way out of the cage where you live. Maybe one of these days you can let the light in. Show me how big your brave is. Say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. What you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. I wanna see you be brave.
It does seem to happen like this, where I have about 100 million announcements for you this morning. I'm going to start with the ones you don't have to remember the details of, because you can find them where? In the newsletter. All right, so your auction team would like to remind you that today is the last time that your donations will be accepted. So if you've been meaning to donate, but you haven't done it yet, you have plans for this afternoon. The form is very brief. Don't forget to submit it once each for each item, service, or event. And thank you to everyone who have already made your contributions. If you've already donated, let's see your hands. If you've already put in some fun events or stuff or services. All right, if you're planning to, but you haven't done it yet, you're going to do it today. Let's see it. Yeah. It doesn't matter when you get it in. It just matters that you get it in. Great. Our congregational meeting has been moved to November 14th at 2 p.m. So not next Sunday, but the Sunday after. If you were attempting to remember a different date, erase it from your mind. It's gone. Poof. It's done. Check your newsletter. Also that weekend is our all-church camp out at Hagenstone Park. It's actually in Greensboro. It's close and convenient, but we've reserved a campground. Everyone's invited to the all-church gathering, and there's a sign-up in the newsletter. So you can find more of this information, and you don't have to remember. You just have to remember to check the newsletter. That's all. Okay. Ann Dickinson is coordinating Thanksgiving potlucks to happen in various people's houses. More details will come from Ann in the newsletter. Great. For the potlucks to be held on Thanksgiving. That's right. Great. Okay. Next Sunday, we are doing a Remembrance Sunday in service. In the tradition of the Christian holiday of All Souls Day. So we'll name our dead, and we'll think about the ways that they are still with us in the ways that we understand or hope for and don't understand. Okay. That's all the stuff that you can look in the newsletter for. Here's some stuff that's not in the newsletter because it came up too quickly. Tomorrow at 5 p.m., outside City Council, the City Workers Union is demonstrating and requesting community support as they organize to have years of service recognized in their STEP pay plan. It's outside, wear your masks, and this is probably not the time, if you're free, to think, oh, someone else will go. I don't need to do that. This is the time for you, if you're able, to check your calendar and remember that it is a public show of solidarity for the city workers whose wages are affected directly by the people that we elect. That exerts the power that they need to win, so your presence matters. Tomorrow at 5 p.m. If you want details about that, you can text me. My phone number is on the back of your order of service. So if anyone wants any further details, text me and I'll get back to you. And then finally, today, there is, like right after service until 3 p.m., there is a party, a fundraiser party for our neighbors at the Hyatt Street Mobile Home Park. They're throwing a big party and trying to raise the money to buy the land on which their homes sit from the person who owns the land, who's trying to sell it out from under them. There are states where the people who live there get first right of refusal. We are actually not one of those states, but could be. There are lots of legal things that you could know about if you wanted to, and if you want to, you can check your newsletter, and you can also email me or text me. But downtown, if you're interested, it's a big, fun Halloween party and fundraiser, and I can give you information. Okay, I think that's all of our million announcements.
What about coffee?
What about it? I don't know. Who's doing it?
Is there a silent machine?
If you want coffee, you should make coffee. Ken Williams is making the coffee today. Great. Thanks, Ken. If you are someone who likes coffee, you might consider signing up to make coffee. All right, let's all say goodbye to everybody who's joined us online. It's so beautiful to be with you this way. We hope to see you in person when you feel comfortable. And good day. In closing, there is a part of you that refuses to be predictable. There is a part of you that longs to join with other souls in the exercise of collective power toward the world that yet could be. That's not the part that's primarily preoccupied with being good. Don your costumes. Go in peace. Amen. We'll go outside and sing our benediction hymn, Shalom Havarim. This is a Hebrew song that means peace, dear friends, until we meet again.